Hey again from the garden, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. Today I am in the hoop house, obviously, and I am going to be pinching my dahlia plants that I have planted in here, and I just thought this might be a helpful thing to share with you guys. I will put the date up on the screen of when these dahlia tubers were planted. I cannot remember off of the top of my head, but I first planted the tubers inside the hoop house, and then I think it was maybe a week or a week and a half later that I planted the ones out in the garden. So those are not nearly as far. In fact, these sprouted a lot faster than those. I mean, they both were warm temperatures, so I don't know if maybe these tubers just had a little more sprouts going on and when I planted them or what the situation was, but I'm really excited to see how these compare growing wise, hoop house versus outside, as far as how tall the plants get and how many blooms they produce. So I will make sure to share that with you guys along the growing season. But anyway, as you can see, some of these are over 2 feet tall and definitely ready to be pinched. One other thing before I start pinching these, I do not have any of these staked or supported yet. I do plan to put some T-posts in the ground to corral the dahlias. I don't need it yet, but when I do, I will make sure to share that with you guys to show you guys the method that I'm using this year. So let me bring the camera closer and I want to show you guys how I am pinching these. So pinching dahlias really helps the plant as far as productivity. It helps the plant branch out, and in turn that gives you a lot more blooms. And while it does set it back about a couple weeks from getting blooms on the plants, it's completely worth it because your plant will bush out, give more branches, and you will get way more than if you didn't pinch it. Okay, so this is the tallest dahlia in the patch. I think it's almost pushing 3 feet. I could have already pinched this back, but I wanted to wait until the others were a little bit taller just so I could do all of them at the same time. So I'm going to come in here with my Felco pruners, and after I do this one, I will move the camera in closer so you can see really close in detail where I'm pinching this. And I'm going to show you another reason that you really want to pinch dahlias after I clip this one. But I'm going to come in here about a foot off the ground. And this may seem really drastic, but it's going to be really good for the plant. And you want to cut, so if this is your stem and these are your branches that come out, you want to cut right above where those branches come out. And you will see that when I move the camera in closer. So I cut all of this off the plant, but this middle stem is completely hollow. If I got a bloom on the top of the stem and wanted to cut it and put it in water, there's no way that it would even last in a vase because the stem is hollow and it can't absorb water. So this is definitely a good move. So now my plant is about a foot tall and it already has side branches starting. So this thing now is just going to really put all of its energy into new growth, and it will start growing in no time. Let me move the camera in closer so you can see exactly where I'm cutting these. All right, so here's a really good view for you guys to be able to see. This dahlia plant is almost 2 feet tall. I'm going to come in and pinch it down so it will help promote new growth. You can see this middle sprout. So here's a set of new branches coming out. Here's some with already some growth. I'm going to come all the way down to here. See this new growth already sprouting? I'm going to come in here. You don't want to clip the new growth, so you have to be pretty careful. Sometimes I kind of split them apart with my fingers. But I want to clip right above that new growth. And if you can see, this is hollow. That's not going to absorb any water. Now, it doesn't hurt that this is hollow. If water gets in there, I don't think it's going to do anything. I've never had that issue. But all of the new growth is now going to create side branches, and this plant as a whole is going to become more bushier with more blooms. So that is basically my process on pinching dahlias. It's really, really easy. And again, it might seem a little drastic, but trust me, it really helps with the growth of the plant. One other thing that you can do is if you have some low branches that are really close to the soil, that are almost touching the soil, or are touching the soil, you just want to pluck those off and remove those too. That helps prevent disease on the plant. And when you water your dahlia plants, you don't want to water them overhead, especially if you have a humid climate. You want to make sure to water just the soil because that will cut down on the risk of powdery mildew. So anyway, I'm going to go through the hoop house and finish pinching these. It'll probably take me 5 minutes or so. It's a really quick process. And then I'm going to move on to some other tasks for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll make sure to give you updates on these dahlias throughout the entire growing season. I have so many beautiful new varieties I'm growing this year. I cannot wait to see how these look. And then of course my favorite varieties, I'm going to be saving the tubers over winter to plan for next year. So I will share everything with you guys. So anyway, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you soon.